Welcome to the Empowered Mind podcast with Joelle and Natalie Rivera. We are on a never-ending quest to master the power of our mind, develop a growth mindset, and explore the leading edge of positive psychology and human potential so we can take radical personal responsibility for creating our destinies and reaching our potential.
So let me ask you, are you a doer or are you a dreamer? And I'm not saying that you have to be either one, but you kind of do have to be either one. Because I still dream, but at my core, I'm a doer. And what's the difference? You know, a dreamer is that person that has this great idea, might even get it started a little bit, might even write it down, might even visualize it, might even tell other people how they're going to create this future and how they're going to change the world or how they're going to invent something. But they never actually follow through. And they keep jumping from one thing to another. The difference is a doer has an idea, maybe has a passion, has a dream, and they might visualize it, they might see it, but they actually take the steps to actually create it. They actually write down every week what they're gonna do about it. They might stay up a little bit later just to work on it. They might wake up a little bit earlier just to work on it. The doer is the one that actually creates life. They actually create their destiny. They actually move forward instead of just thinking about it.
And so in the world that we've been working in for a long time, there's a lot of people that put a lot of emphasis on, having a vision for your life and dreaming big and even visualization and the law of attraction. And all of that is very powerful. It's extremely important to get clear on what you want and to really make it real in your imagination. But one of the problems that we've found with a lot of people is they get really excited about their dreams, but they get stuck sitting on their stump. And so let me explain what that means. So it's like, imagine there's this wonderful stump out in the middle of the woods, and you go and you sit on it and you meditate about everything that you dream of, and you imagine how wonderful it will be. And you say to yourself, I've put all of this great energy out into the universe, and now what I want is going to come to me. And then you just expect it to show up on your doorstep or in your lap. But the truth is that sometimes things might just show up on your doorstep or in your lap. We've had the craziest things that have just randomly manifested in our lives. But the truth is, in that unless you take that dream and you break it down into steps and you make it into a goal and you make a plan with action steps and you actually start preparing yourself for it so that you're ready when it comes, then even when it does show up on your doorstep, you're not going to be able to do anything with it because you never took the action. So it's like, all that airy-fairy dreaming isn't going to get you anywhere unless you actually do something, because we do live in a 3D world.
And part of it is also recognizing that the difference sometimes is that somebody who's a dreamer might actually dream about it, might actually get started, and then when they get to that point that they have to do something that they're not as comfortable with, or something that's a little bit scary, or something that just doesn't feel right, they might stop. And that's what holds a lot of people back, and is recognizing that you have to be a doer. And being a doer means that you get it started. There are going to be uncomfortable situations, but you're going to continue to take that next step, even if you don't know how you're going to get to that final destination. Because like Natalie said, sometimes we've had situations that come up, we had a vision, and things open up to us in it's like drastic way. But unless we've created the foundation, unless we created the steps, action steps, unless we were working on them, we couldn't see that maybe we needed to change this, or maybe there's another opportunity. Because it's almost like having that GPS in your car. You're just sitting there in your parking lot and you're waiting for that GPS to tell you which way to go, but it's not going to know which way to go until you actually start moving, because it doesn't know if you're facing east, west, south, or whatever it may be. So for you in life is the same thing. When you're a doer, it means that you're going to follow your dreams and you're going to keep pushing forward. And that sometimes in that process, it's not going to feel good. Sometimes you're not going to know what the next step is. But you have this dream that you've created, and you know that nothing's going to stop you from achieving that dream.
And I want to add like a side note here, that there's also the other extreme. We're also, we work around entrepreneurs all the time, and there's this huge push to like grind it out and to get it done, and all of this pressure to not only dream big, but like create an empire and you're supposed to work all the time and everything's supposed to be so hard and it doesn't matter if you like it, you just have to do it anyway. And all that is effective for some people, but that's also not our point. Our point isn't that you're supposed to work yourself to death and that just do without thinking about why you're doing it or remembering. Because what happens is you get such into the mode of doing, you forget what your dream was. And so what we're really talking about here is finding a balancing point where when it really truly feels like the wrong thing to do and you're not going to be able to think straight or be creative or get it done in that moment, then it's not the time to do it. But those times when you're choosing not to take action because you feel a little nervous, or maybe you're just unsure, or you don't have the energy, sometimes you should just do it anyway. Because how many times has there been things that you resisted a little bit, but then once you actually made the choice to do it, it came out fantastic. And so there is that fine line of walking between, not forcing yourself to do things that are not in alignment with your dream versus allowing yourself to take the inspired action and pushing through some of those moments when there is a little bit of resistance, knowing that the greatest things lie on the other side of your fear.
And then, for example, one of the things that I do is that I say, well, I'm not really feeling it right now, but I know it's important. So I'll say, I'm going to work on it for 10 minutes. I'm going to commit to 10 minutes because all of us can commit to 10 minutes. And what happens a lot of times is that I'll start working on it for 10 minutes and next thing I know, I got into it, I got excited, I'm in flow and I'm working for several hours on what I'm trying to create. But the hard part for a lot of people is just getting started. So the first thing, most important thing is just taking that action, the initial action to get yourself started. And the other part where Natalie was talking about as well is work smarter, not harder. And this is one of the greatest lessons that I learned. And at the time, I was working full time. I was doing like 4 different contract positions, doing community service and just connecting the community, doing workshops. And I was just all over the place. And I remember one time someone said to me, one of the fathers in one of the programs that I was running, said to me, Joel, I love what you're doing, you're contributing, but you need to learn how to work smarter and not harder. And I drove home thinking, work smarter, not harder? Makes sense. And what I started realizing is that every time and everything that I was doing was I was overcomplicating it in my life. And that sometimes just sitting back and being able to reflect on how can I do this better? Maybe I can partner with someone that's going to help me in this aspect that I'm not great at. Maybe I can develop relationships. Maybe I can learn something new that's going to open up doors. Maybe I can go to Fiverr and pay someone $5 to do that thing that they're a lot better at me and that it would take me 10 hours to do. And for $5, I can have someone do it that's a professional at it. So it's recognizing that there's other ways of doing it. That being a doer is not just about doing things, it's about doing the right things.
Yeah, because being busy all the time and just doing, it does not mean you're productive. It doesn't mean that you're actually making your way towards a goal or that it's actually going to help you fulfill your dreams. And so Joelle pointed out that sometimes it can be a problem if you don't know what to do. That's one problem you can have. You could also be doing the wrong thing. But what's even worse is that sometimes people don't even remember their dream. And you could be one of those people. It's like, well, I don't really have a dream. I'm not very ambitious. I don't have big goals. But what happens is that sometimes we stop allowing ourselves to dream because when we've had these dreams before and we weren't the doer type and we just dreamed them and sat on our stump and expected them to come and they didn't come, we got disappointed. And so because we were disappointed, we decided to lower the bar. We set goals that are easy to achieve because we don't actually believe in ourselves anymore. But it's not because it's not possible, it's because you didn't do what you needed to do.
Thank you, fellow Freedom Junkies, for listening. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to help us grow, please rate and share this podcast. You can also become a member of Freedom Nation. Visit freedomorbustpodcast.com and sign up to receive access to exclusive content and take the 21-day happiness challenge. As you know, we believe that entrepreneurship is the ultimate form of empowerment, which is why we created the Side Hustle Business Startup course for anyone looking to create their own income and take back their power. we offer an exclusive discount for our podcast listeners. Find out more at freedomorbustpodcast.com.